Cool.
So, there are a lot of things I wanted to do, but the most pressing issues would be, in some order, building and sticking to game plans, VOD review, build effective practice routines, bearing in mind I want to be able to play, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So it will analysis and practice season for me. So, like, of these, like, what is a game plan? Because that's a very broad statement. That means different things to different people. Because for some people, this gameplay is like keeping my head in the game.
Right.
While for other people, it's like an essay. So, like,
Yeah.
when you say building and sticking to a game plan, what does that mean to you? Just so we're on the same page.
Yeah, it's like a set of guidelines that for any given matchup, things I should be looking out for and things I should know to do, like generally depending on the matchup. It could be like percent based or otherwise.
Okay. I think if we talk about, like, do you currently do analysis?
Not like proper formal analysis, but I sit down and I take notes sometimes.
Okay. And do you have a practice routine?
No, I mean, when I'm not bogged down with like exams or coursework, I'll hop onto Uncle Punch and I'll do like an hour of various things. But
yeah. So the goal here is to make your time with Mail like as efficient as possible. And I don't want this to be info dumping about game plans for every single character.
Yeah.
Although it can be if you would prefer. However, I want to go over quickly. I want to be able to cover the entire how I do analysis.
Yeah.
So, how to analyze VODs. And I know you've seen some lessons before, like watched live at least.
Yeah, and I've watched quite a few of the VODs. I clicked on the ABBA one, but then like 5 minutes in I realized, oh, this isn't Swedish.
Yeah, unfortunately. That's like, it's so sad because that's one of my better lessons. And it's all in Swedish. Which is like, not much you can do about it. People will prefer whichever language they will do, and I will do which... I know 2.5 languages, so it's whatever. But you might have heard some concepts or some terms I use when I talk about analysis.
Yeah.
Just to repeat real quick, if you need a reminder, or if people watch this, a win condition is very tightly linked to positioning. Understanding your win condition is like how you build the route to your game plan. If you can figure out like what you should be looking for in a matchup, or probably equally as important, like what the opponent is looking for, that's like how you can begin to form a game plan. And what a game plan comes down to, I would say, is rules. And rules are always okay to break, especially in Melee. But having ground rules is what allows you to play with confidence.
Right.
And quick examples, if I play Morph versus ICs, there are just like strict rules I am not allowed to break.
The floor is lava.
Like, if I'm grounded, I have to do like one of two things. I need to down tilt or jump. Those are the only grounded actions I'm allowed to do. If I'm dashing, I'm wasting time. There is no reason to be dashing rather than jumping back. I'm not allowed to F smash. I'm not allowed to like down smash. I'm not allowed to do even nair. Are all like bad options. Obviously, they will have use cases, but like my game plan or my rules I need to follow is like have a distance, play from angles, and only allow myself to do moves that are safe versus CC and wave dash in. Like wave dash in shield.
Yeah.
And having those rules is... They will become clear like once you know the win condition. And win condition typically isn't super hard unless you're playing versus Fox.
Yeah.
Because I hate to say, but like he's the only character in the game who doesn't really care. Like he can have multiple win conditions, which most characters don't have the luxury. I think you main Fox at this point. Like I only see if you play Fox and Sheik.
No, I play more Sheik.
Okay, you play more Sheik now. Ah, you see, I know nothing. I'm sorry. But that's good because it's a simpler, no-brain character, so it's perfect.
Yes.
No, but basically what that comes down to is like if you play Sheik, you do have very clear rules.
Yeah.
So if we want to take an example, just how to break something down, can you give us like a matchup you quickly want to run down over, so we can go over like the concepts how you would do this?
Yeah, Sheik Falco.
Okay, so in Sheik Falco, if we just go through like we don't even have a VOD, we will just do this theoretically for now.
Right.
Identify your win condition.
Which
condition would you fight for in neutral to get a winning position?
Side plot, ideally.
Yeah. If you have a stage with side platforms, this is your win condition. Get it into this position, and like having him anywhere that's not here.
Yeah.
That's your win condition. And if you can accomplish that, like you're doing great. Can you force this position?
Not directly. I mean, you can just jump.
Yeah, it's somewhat hard for him to stop you. But like you can spend a lot of time here. And like most of the games you play this, you will be playing from this position.
Right.
So your win condition might be, I'm not saying this is like set in stone, but to play from like side platform. And because it's like important and it will apply for the other stages too. If you're playing on FD, what's your win condition?
It's like the mid-range, right?
Okay, so why would you want to be... Okay, define mid-range. Because that's very different to different people.
Yeah, so it's anywhere you can get like laser aerial, right? Like laser nair or something.
So like further away than this.
Further away than that, yeah.
Yeah, so like this range to like this range.
Yeah, anywhere you can have like any kind of mix-up out of laser.
Yeah, and I would say like that's true neutral.
Yeah.
And that's basically the best you got in on this stage.
Yeah, and that's why the stage sucks.
Yeah, you never really have advantage. You have neutral and disadvantage. You never have advantage in this stage. And that's still fine, because arguably you outpunish Falco. Although it's hard.
Yeah.
If we think about like Falco's win condition, because that's step number 2. What's Falco's win condition when he plays this matchup?
On FD?
Any stage.
Any stage?
Yeah.
So that's I don't know, slightly harder. I feel like it's more complicated for Falco's perspective.
Yeah, it's usually like the spaces have. Okay, you could simplify the game plan to being like, I'm not gonna get into Sheik's zone where she has mix-ups. That's a fair win condition.
Yeah.
But obviously, like you could also have a win condition as in getting into her space and scrapping. That's also a valid win condition. But I would say Falco's main win condition is to avoid giving Sheik advantage. It's like to keep a advantageous position as long as you can.
Right.
Because like if we analyze this position as Falco, I would say inarguably the best option is like to do this.
That's my opinion, yeah.
Yeah, and like that's very hard for Sheik to deal with or like gain an advantage from.
Yeah.
Because it forces you to act. And
it
that's
makes
sort
me
of like
throw my needles. I don't like that.
Yeah. And that's sort of how this matchup goes, where you can kind of get to wherever you want, but Falco can make you leave wherever you are. So Falco's win condition, if we're to like try to phrase it, is just like not letting Sheik be comfortable.
Right. Yeah.
And that sounds way more metaphoric than like what it actually is. It's just like not being in this zone.
It feels nebulous, but it's quite well defined in terms of what Sheik wants.
It is very straightforward.
Yeah.
Finding common situations. It's basically like this is a common situation. this is a common situation. Oh, I guess it would be the different point of view. So let me put them here. Let's put them here. This would be a common situation. It's like anything that shows up more than once per game, or that you can force, is a position worth breaking down and understanding. And when you build a game plan around these positions. It's things you can default to, force, or you know will happen, and you know what to do around them. Because that's if you have a game plan and you understand the position, you don't have to think.
Yeah.
And if you're in this position, you're like, okay, I'm aware of this situation. I know Falco can threaten. Like, in this position, maybe running shield is really good. Because if they drop laser, I have my power shield. If they drop an aerial, it's very like a high aerial, so I can narrow shield or I can grab it. If they jump towards center, I can always like wave dash back. I'm not giving up a lot. I'm not gonna get shield poked. It's hard for him to set up good pressure. So like, okay, running shield is a good option. Jumping likely isn't, unless like I'm in the down or won't knock down percent.
Yeah.
Going back is fine, but it's arguably gonna get a better position.
Yeah.
So like breaking down spots like that, and understanding which options are. When you do analysis, you should write down which options are being done. But when we use the theoretical, it's just like think about the right options, and when playing, either figure out if you were right. Because I might do run up shield, and every Falcon might do shield drop fast fall grab me, and I might look stupid. I don't think they would, but hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Not the rest, but like the following points are understanding and writing down just the most common options from each side. And important note, always start with the opponent. Otherwise, you're doing unnecessary work. Because from any given position, you don't know what the opponent can do. So you should list everything the opponent possibly can do that's a valid option.
Yes,
you don't have to list everything. Oh, sorry?
You figure out the counters to all the, like, the fewest things that can cover the most options, right? You
try to do as efficiently as possible, counter all of their options. Because once you have that, it's like the least amount of work you need to do to simplify melee where you can still win.
Yeah.
And like, that's the game plan part. If you have that down, you're golden. So like, if you want to find a game plan, you should, or like figure out the game plan for a character matchup, you would just start with just like, write down Marth Sheik. Let's think about like, what's the win condition? Sheik's win condition, Marth's win condition. What are the top 5 most common, or top 5 or 10 most common situations you can think of? And then list them if it's like a common position or a position you can force. And then hopefully you can break it down further on, or like later on. But to do, like, this is the step you need to do to effectively do analysis, because game plans, I don't want to say they have to come from analysis, but like, basically they do. You need to somehow understand the options before you can actually create rules for yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to read this deeper, by the way, it's linked in the document, and I can share this with you now. Just so you have access to it. It should be... I think that works. It goes a bit further in depth in explain what I'm doing here, because I want to save time, because I want to make sure you get as much possible out of this hour. But like looking for habits, optimizations, applying work, and extra stuff.
Right.
But game plans comes from analysis. Analysis, like, the best way to do analysis is like, you get a VOD where you don't understand where you're losing, or you clearly have like, you know there is something to work on.
Right.
You watch it through once, can be at 2 times speed, and you just note down common situations. Because like, that's the hard part. Because in your mind, what's a common situation, like in theory, might not be a common situation in practice. And that you need to understand, because otherwise you will play and you will be like, I have all of these common situations in theory. I have this perfect game plan, and then they never show up in the real game.
Yeah.
So always start by doing that. then focus on like again the combo situations, like they have the most value for how easy they are to break down, or like how little work it takes to break them down. Then obviously as you get better, you get the smaller and smaller, less and less important situations until you figure out every situation, which are like you want because it's melee and it's stupid. So analysis comes before game plan. That's important. I will say that when you play Sheik, I don't want to say like that you have similar game plans, but it's a lot of rules carry from character to character. When I play Morph, that's not the case. When I play Fox, that's not the case.
Yeah.
But for Sheik, sort of the zone you're allowed to play at and the angles you're allowed to play at basically stays the same. Like, there is no matchup where side platform is bad.
Yeah.
Or Ghibli versus Falcon, I guess. But like, the point being, once you start breaking down one matchup more and more, you will realize how much translates and what doesn't. So when you have a given game plan, it is almost worth to do a copy-paste, then go through it and delete rather than write.
Okay.
Having a game plan, like, to look back on, a game plan should always be, like, the difference between matchup notes and game plans. We talked about rules. Rules are really important. But it's also I want to say, like, reminders. Because if I haven't played this matchup in forever, and if I were to check my, like, game plan notes, they will just say, like, this spot good to stay at, this spot okay to land at, never stay at.
Right.
And, like, that's my rules for the matchup. Because everything else is self-explanatory in terms of movement choice. But when it comes to move choice. But specifically things like spacing is very easy to forget.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden I might be playing grounded in this spot. Because I'm like, okay, this usually where I'm like protected from full jump, but I don't think enough. I'm like, okay, wait, why is this good to land on? Okay, it's good to land because I can up it to top platform and they can't reach me in time to punish it. It gives me a good grounded option that's like not CCable and not shieldable. For Sheik, when you do like game plan notes, I would say it's pretty different because a lot of the time it comes down to responding to movements.
Right.
Because
when
you
a
will
fox is dashing at me while I'm on side plat.
Yeah, like having those answers written down, like, okay, let's pick Fox is to clear set it up. If Fox is dashing to you from this position, do you want to shield up there? Do you want to like waveland back? Do you want to go to top platform? Because if it was Isis, you would want to go here. If it was Falcon, you would want to go here. Versus Fox, you probably do want to shield up there. It's like the starting point will be the same, where this is a good default position. But again, you start off by copy pasting, and then you change the small bits, like these positions. And I think we agree that like this is a common position. So this is something you would have to look at.
Yes.
I want to make sure I cover do you have anything else you wonder regarding analysis that you would like to ask right now?
No.
Okay.
I think I'm good, but if anything, I'll DM you.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Otherwise, when you do your game plans, it's please value, like, I don't write unnecessary things.
Right.
Like, that sounds obvious.
Yeah.
But I hate when I check someone's notes, and it's like, okay, or Sheik versus Falcon game plan, and it's 4 pages.
Right, yeah. You
Because,
want to
like,
be able to like look at your phone. And
yes,
it doesn't
you want to see, bracket went live and I have a match in 4 minutes.
Right, exactly.
That's what what a game plan is for. Because the rest, like, you should have the muscle memory and you should have the understanding. But getting now we're talking about creating a game plan. Sticking to a game plan, we will get there. That's harder.
Yeah, it's very hard.
But creating a game plan, it should just be the simplest ground rules you should follow, while giving while also reminding you. Okay, let me phrase it this way: a game plan should write down everything that's not automatically in your autopilots.
Okay.
That's what it needs to be.
Right. So like most of the time, things like move choice and
Yeah, because if it's
that
like
kind of thing.
like short up Arc Selfare is good.
Oh yes, I do.
But if you play like versus, let's say, a matchup where it's not really good, maybe Falco, it's like, okay, jump a bit less because they're just gonna laser me out of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Anything else regarding creating a game plan?
No, I feel like I have a good idea of where to start from and
Okay,
where to go. Yeah.
cool. Now sticking to it.
Oh God.
So tournaments suck.
Yeah,
Because
I don't like them.
our brain is very small and smooth, and we aren't as smart as Samus mains. So, to stick to, or when you have a game plan, the important part is following your rules.
Mm-hmm.
And with Sheik, slowing down is good. My question becomes like, how do you slow down with Sheik?
God. Run away.
Where do you run away to? Is running away good?
No, it's not. I don't like the corner.
Yeah, because like, oh, I can change this now. Running away with Sheik, like, you don't want to be in this position to be like, okay, wait, what do I need to do? And you do this, and you're like, okay, wait. My game plan is don't corner yourself. Oh.
Yeah. Oh well.
Because I feel like that's something that happens.
Yeah. Well, like with Sheik, you can, I mean, on side plat, you have a lot of options to wall your opponent out.
Yeah. Typically, if you want to slow the game down, in most matchups, you are allowed to do this, and even this.
Right.
If you have a top plat, like, which characters are good at contesting top plats? Out of the top tiers.
Fox.
Yeah, I would say
Falco.
Fox, Falcon, and Falco.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones. Unfortunately, those are like the 3 fastest one with threat ranges.
Yes.
Which means those will be the hardest. I guess most other characters, sticking to a game plan will always comes down to like, okay, if you... What should I say? Ideally, you should get into a rhythm where it's like, I'm following my rules, I'm waiting for the right opportunities, and if you have a good game plan, then you will be constantly playing to get yourself into a favorable position.
Mm-hmm.
Why holding a game plan is hard is because you get hit and you lose track of your game plan.
Right.
Because you don't write down get hit by knee at 40.
Yeah.
That's not within your game plan.
Yes.
So, the most important thing to be able to do to stick to a game plan is to reset.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is in positions where if you're shielding here, while the optimal options is not always the best one to stick to a game plan.
Right.
Not because like your game plan requires you to do a bad option, but because you need to take time and get into a position where it's like, okay, what do I know? That's because a game plan should cover your most common situations. So whenever you are in like muddy water, try to figure out the closest common situation you can get to or you can force.
Okay.
And then
like
play from there.
Closest in terms of proximity, right?
Not in proximity, but like in terms of frame data. What's the fastest way you can reset to a known situation?
Right.
Like that's what mathematicians always say. It's like reduce to a known problem.
Right. Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Reduce it to an NP complete problem. There you go.
Because like that's what you need to do. if you're in disadvantage, it shouldn't be fight your way out of disadvantage. It should be fight my way into where I know what I'm doing. Because in your game plan, you should have, like, you will be in disadvantage a lot.
Yeah.
If you don't have answer to those, then you have a bad game plan.
But you want to be in a spot in disadvantage, which is within your brain.
Known disadvantage.
Yeah.
So like this position is very common because it will show up either after you have been on like a platform you're dropping through, or when you have just been on ledge, on like your ledge session or whatever.
Right.
So this would be a common situation. And like if we talk about, I think this is more interesting if we put in Fox.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
A bit further back. So like here, in this position, let's be nice and say Fox only has 5 options.
Okay,
obviously true. He's a very limited character.
He only has 5 options in general.
Yeah, exactly. Never has more. So let's say Fox can do run and grab. Let's say he can do drill in place. Let's say he can do run and shine. Let's say he can do dash dance. And let's say he can do a like turn around and full jump weights.
Ooh, I love that one.
That was the worst one by far. And like, if you're in this position, what do you think the best option is? If like that's all of his options.
If that's all of his options,
yeah.
I full hop waveland to
yes.
side pot.
Right answer. And like that's typically how it goes. Where if you think from like Fox POV, it's like all of these make sense because it's like okay, high reward, low risk options. Or I'm just holding space, I'm doing great. And it's very easy for someone to like overlook that, okay, wait, all of these lose to me doing a full jump waveland down.
Yep.
And hopefully, then you go from a situation you know into a... Oh, let's turn off record on that one. Another situation that you should know. But this one, instead of playing disadvantage, this one is closer to even.
Yeah.
And that's how you stick to a game plan. It's you go from I don't know what I'm doing to okay. Let's calm down to okay. Now we're back in neutral again. And this is hard. And obviously, you can't always do this. That's how people become predictable.
Yeah,
and with Sheik,
like, jumps on like nears me and I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Luckily with Sheik, I think you have a pretty like, or in most positions, you have like pretty easy Hail Mary options. It's like okay, if he's here and he's expecting me to do like a jump to platform, you'll zip up to this one. It's just they will short up forward and he's like rising there.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
it's
like,
so funny.
On paper, it's a horrible option.
Yes.
It's horrendous. Like it loses to everything that's not full jump towards her or short towards her. However, I've never seen this option not work.
Yeah.
And that's because it is the 1 in 10 you throw out to make your default options work.
Yeah, it's the thing that you do to make the other thing a lot more better. Even though it's bad. I get it.
So, that's the... Whenever you write down mix-ups, it's like valuing... Because when we talk about lists, it's like always write down what beats what, but realizing if something has a... I think I want to do this because it's a very obvious example.
Yeah.
If I play this matchup...
Yes.
And I'm on ledge...
Yeah.
If I have to get on stage, Puff's fadeback backer beats all of my options except for one.
Yeah.
Which is counter.
Yeah.
Okay, it beats or goes neutral with. That doesn't mean I should counter from ledge 50% of the time.
No.
Despite it covering 90% of options, I should do it 1 out of 20 maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just enough to make someone respect an option.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had this idea for a while.
And
Like,
with
you gotta
Sheik,
represent it, yeah.
that happens a bunch. Because, like, if you play this matchup...
Thank God I don't.
What did you say?
I don't, but yes. Continue.
Okay, fair. It is, I want to make it very clear, like, grab is a bad option in this matchup.
Yes.
It's a kill confirm, but it's like, you always die if they hold down.
Yes, 11 out of 10 times, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, because of how bad grab is, and because of how weak you are against crouch in general, like, what's Sheik's best option to call out a crouching puff?
Dash away, full hop, turn around needle.
Sure, that's the safest, but if you want to call it out.
Oh, if you want to call it out?
Yeah.
I guess it depends on percent.
Yeah.
Down smash, I guess.
You can down smash.
Mid percents.
Yeah, because down smash, it obviously loses to shield.
Yeah.
But if you get them to shield, all of a sudden grab is okay.
Yeah.
So doing a somewhat bad option makes your regular bad options okay.
Right, yeah.
And like, if you play this matchup, which I know you don't, trying to kill Puff if you were not allowed to grab would be awful.
It's hell. Yeah, you wait until 120% and try run up jab.
Yeah, exactly. Which you should never get to that point.
Yeah.
If we talk about this matchup, I think the game plan is simple. Like, King always talks about this. Like, this is the simplest matchup in Melee.
Yeah.
Which, like, the reason it's simple, like, these are arguably the best and second best character in the game.
Sure, yeah.
Arguably. But,
right.
like, how come this matchup is so simple for Fox? It's not easy, but it's simple. And, like, that's an important distinction.
Because Fox can always force approaches.
Yeah, he can force approaches.
Yes.
And forcing approaches is part of it. If we want to be like Pharaoh, we would be like, he can force positions.
Right.
He can always be like, I want this position, I can make this position happen. Always. Right. Meaning, if you have a game plan, you can always force any known situation in your game plan to happen. Now, of course, Puff can, as a character, her main advantage is she can always stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't stop her, or that doesn't stop you from playing in a known position. You are aware of your mix-ups, you can force your mix-ups, and she sort of has to respect that.
Right, okay, I see.
So, to stick with a game plan, reset to known positions. Slow down when you can. Mix in options to let you reset more.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's like the simplest way to put it. And again, like that's sort of, you can have a long explanation, but if you want to look back at it, that's the rules.
Right.
Just want to make sure time looks okay, because practice is gonna take a while.
Yeah.
Do you have any more questions regarding like sticking to a game plan?
No, I get the picture, but I feel like it's obviously a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, like it's you need to do analysis first. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You can't force a game plan. You can't be like, I'm gonna stick to a game plan. It's like, okay, but what is your game plan? I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite work. So, analysis, game plan, practice. Like, they come in this order. Realizing what to do.
That's natural, yeah.
Yeah. And when you do a game plan, like, or when you practice, obviously, you need to know from analysis, like, because when you do analysis, you should always have a priority list, and the things that are prioritized, them like there are two factors that go towards how high you should prioritize something. The first factor is like how beneficial would this be to learn?
Right.
The second factor is what's the amount of effort I need to put in?
Right. So like marginal benefit.
Yeah.
For like
So it's basically the combination of results to time invested.
Yeah.
And for people who play Fox, this is what they mostly do wrong.
Right, yeah.
The reason mid-level Fox are like stuck at the skill level is because they're like, I'm gonna learn this hard tech. And it's like, okay, but you're gonna lose to someone who only does fully on space backer.
Yeah.
If you play Sheik, practicing is weird because how over-centralizing RTC is.
Interaction tech is, yeah.
Yeah. If someone tells you, yeah, just solo practice, and they play Sheik, you will assume they're RTCing.
Yes.
If you actually want to get better, RTCing for an hour a day isn't very efficient.
Yeah, I think I realized that a long time ago.
Yeah. So, how to practice? You will hopefully, from analysis, you will have written situations. For practice, it's basically for anything that requires execution needs practice.
Right.
And like if we take example, if you play Sheik, it would be like a dash out of CC versus Marfair.
Sure, yeah.
This is something that like when I play any Sheik in Europe, I get away with doing a tipper landing fair. Against Max, I get grabbed every time.
Yeah, because that's really hard to do.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to do, but it's a bufferable input.
Yes.
It can be done with practice, clearly.
Yes.
This is just one of many, but like this, in my opinion, you can learn this in a day if you just practice for an hour or two.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, like
that doesn't mean that's how you should learn it.
Right.
That's inefficient, and like that's not what a sane person should be doing with Melee.
No, you do like 5 minutes over like 2 weeks, and you'd get the same benefit.
Yeah. The way I want you to look at solo practice is just to make something as efficient as possible, while raising your overall skill. Because the issues with Melee, muscle memory is like a fresh product. It goes away.
Yeah.
Situational awareness also goes away.
Yes.
If you have not played against a Pika in like a month, 2 months, 3 months.
Which is every time I play against a Pika.
Exactly. You will come in every single time to that matchup being like, okay, wait, how do I do this?
Yeah.
However, game knowledge is always additive.
Right.
If you like learn, write down, and figure out the situation, you will never become worse at the game.
Mm-hmm.
You might not be able to implement it, but like you are better at the game thanks to having broken down the situation.
Okay.
And realizing that practicing Melee, it should not be I'm gonna practice ledge dashing 10 hours a day for a month, and after that I can ledge dash forever.
No, yeah.
It's a fresh product. That's not how you can treat it. Which is like how you practice it should reflect this.
Yeah, you gotta buy milk every week or it'll go off.
So the way I suggest doing practice, first of all, do not. I think I have to phrase this. Have a set in stone schedule for each day.
Right.
I hate when people have like general movement 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wave dashing, 5 minutes. Ledge dashing, 5 minutes. It's like... that is not how you get good at the game efficiently. You might as well just be like, I'm gonna get better by playing unranked for 12 hours a day. It's obviously better, but it's the same issue. It's inefficient practice that won't get you anywhere. It's bashing your head against the wall until you get better, which doesn't work.
Yeah.
There are a few methods that I have had success with, and that students have had success with. And the first one is the point-based system.
Right.
You might have seen that, but it's basically for any exercise, you give it a certain value. For Sheik, so let's assume Sheik. If we think of things to practice, we will just write things down first, and then we will give them a point value.
Sure.
RTC will have the highest point value.
Yes.
Let's say it goes from 0 to 5.
Yeah, sure. RTC would be 5.
RTC would be 5. Can you think of something else that is important to solo practice? Not important, that makes sense to solo practice even.
Yeah, I mean, there's a billion movement things.
Let's say I will add some, and you can fill in, you can disagree.
Yeah.
But I will say things like Shinostall and Samistall.
Yep.
So, not gonna get my points yet, because I don't think it's super important. I would add slide off.
Yep.
Different moves. Acts out of CC. I would add probably space and time aerials.
Yeah, like aerial dash back on
shield. CC. Yeah. It's because things like, in theory, if I were to do a fair to F tilt on shield, that should always be shield grab.
Right.
I have not practiced this. I will never beat shield grab with a fair F tilt, even if it's -1, meaning I should have a frame to do it.
1 frame, yeah.
I'm never gonna get this because I haven't practiced it.
Yeah.
And as a Marth main, it makes no sense for me to do a fair and hold forward and press A.
Yes.
For Sheik, that's something you need to be able to do.
I gotta be able to do that.
So yeah, space and time. That's the what's covered with the what I mean when I say this.
Yeah.
I would say things like SDI.
Yeah,
and I don't mean up throw upper SDI.
No.
I think that's the most overvalued SDI in the game for how not important it is.
Yeah.
Because you will do it, then you will get up throw reverse backer at 50, and you will take more damage anyways.
Yeah.
SDI, the important ones you should practice outside of the up throw upper is Shine.
Yeah, wave shine SDI is.
You should practice Falco there. Morph up there.
Yeah.
And up tilts. Because if you get up throw up tilt at 30.
21. Okay.
Let's reverse it. I hope I can make them do it. But normally, if we set this, and let's do no DI. This, I can follow up on. I can get an aerial.
Right. But if I SDI up?
If you get SDI up, if we can make them do it. I'm not sure it will because I have set an ODI. But all of a sudden I don't get anything there. And that's such a huge difference that you should always do.
Yeah.
There is no reason not to. Against Fox's up air, that's a mix-up.
Yes.
This is not. If something is not a mix-up, it's so much more valuable to practice.
Right.
I will add drill too. Because
That
drill.
one's a weird one though.
Yeah. No, but exactly, because people don't practice this. They're like, oh, I need to STA drill.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
So, like, if I ask you, should you STA drill with the C-stick?
Mm,
Exactly.
I mean,
And like the
I
answer
don't
is
know.
no. How would your own reaction when you get drilled change your grip so you hold C-stick to the side?
I play box, so that doesn't matter.
Even then, it's
Yeah,
like
I should.
that
That wouldn't be
travel
good.
time into like, okay, I'm gonna hold. Which side am I getting drilled on? I'm getting the. So like when you get drilled, let's just look at it. Let's make Fox do a shut up drill. And the exercise we will do is just check what happens when we do different things.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I can taunt first. Firstly, I'm just gonna hold left.
Right.
That else. Oh, I should make the Fox do shine too, I guess. Let me think. Off. That should work. So now even if, let's say I do get... Oh, I hope it still shines. Yeah, that whips. Okay, cool. So if you get drilled, and you hold just away, shine misses. If they jump without momentum.
Yeah.
If you get drilled and you hold C-stick away, shine misses.
Yes.
If when you get drilled, you press away once during hit stun, you get 1 ST input, drill misses.
Yes.
Basically, when you get drilled, what I want you to try to do is double tap.
Okay. And I can do like left, down, left, right.
You can do that too, but it's like you only need to double tap, and like you will start to get like insane distance. I should record it taunting first, actually. Taunt, I'll play back.
Right.
Oh, it's
on playback.
And like all of a sudden, like if you only hit those and you practice okay, I get drilled, and all of a sudden, if you go from having to wait, the C stick, where they hold, where they STI, you go from okay.
Of course, yeah.
I'm gonna double tap. If I think I'm gonna get drilled, I'm just gonna double tap to the side. That's so much more important than STIing focuses upper.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to stay on that too long. It's just I wanted to talk about it because everyone do this wrong.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I see that.
If you play box, I guess it doesn't really matter, but I would say things like wave dash lengths.
Yeah, I mean, I still need to practice those.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for like tech chasing.
I will say, since you play on box, I would add walk.
I'm the good of walking. Maybe.
Okay, let's go. No, because like playing on box, it's like instead of when I switched to box, I was like, okay, walking is hard, modifiers suck, and having like different modifier for different walks. Because like when I play on the controller, I abuse different walk speeds to microspace. When I play on box, I always try to be like, okay, in this position, I can buffer a hold forward input, which is gonna be a walk.
Yeah, and that's the fastest.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's, to me, if I can have that without having a modifier and have modifiers to change the walk from there, that's all I need.
Yeah, but you don't get that right.
Some other important things. I would say
run,
like
cancel, tilt.
What did it say?
Run, cancel, tilts.
Yeah, sure. Run, cancel. And what did it say? Like throw follow-ups?
Yeah, big down throw, whoever.
Like, do you know how to do down throw up smash on Marth?
Against what DI?
When you cannot smash it.
Like kill confirm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Because so many people do this horribly wrong.
Really? What's the correct way to do it? Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah. So if you see the Marv, do like, let's make them do full day behind.
Yeah.
People will be like, I'm gonna do this. They
Yeah,
will
is
do,
that wrong?
yeah, don't do this.
What should I do?
When you down from Marv, if we check my inputs, I'm gonna hold backwards. The goal is to up smash on the second frame of turnaround. So this is frame 1, this is frame 2. Now we up smash.
Okay.
This will cover full day in for a very long time.
Right. But is that like a DI read? Can I react to that?
No, like you do this preemptively, and if they like this will cover so many DIs, and if they hold away,
Then you fair.
then you fair.
Yeah.
This is so much better than having to be like, okay, they did in. I'm gonna react and do run, jump, cancel, grab, or jump, cancel, up smash.
Right.
Because this
it's
just
just one
works.
input. It covers everything.
Yeah.
And that looks like really, really annoying. Yeah.
Because eternal, it always works. It's like
Yeah.
if they do no day, if they do slight day in front, because of the way up smash works.
Yeah.
There is a reason you need to do on the second frame. You can't do the first frame turnaround. Then you lose the side B, which is funny. For some reason, you never do on the second frame.
Really?
Like around when it kills. So like around the 71 to 75% mark.
Yeah.
Obviously, then it changes a bit. But like things like that, people don't do. They do the jump cancel. I'm like, you almost never need to do jump cancel up smash as Sheik.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not. I think this is a good start. Obviously, like we can add a lot more.
Yeah.
Let's try to give them numbers, with like 5 being the highest and 0 being the lowest.
Is this numbered based on how much benefit it would give me?
Mm,
Or like, for example, like what is the scoring system here?
The scoring system. Okay, let's explain the scoring system. For a given day, you need to hit, let's say, 20 points. The scoring system is built after that, just to intensify like what you should practice more.
Right.
So the more
Right,
valuable something is to practice, the more often you should be doing it, the higher the score should be.
Right.
So what you can do, or how you should think of it, it's like, okay, Shin stall, Sami stall, that's not hard to practice, and it's good to be able to do, but it's muscle memory.
Mm-hmm. It's in there.
So that's something like, I would give that like a 2.5.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 to 2.5. It's like,
Yeah.
because it's so important to be able to do, but you shouldn't be doing this every day.
Yeah.
This is a once or twice a week practicing. So let's say a 2.
Yeah.
Maybe, okay, let me actually change the scoring system to be like 25. And let's do 7 would be the highest, and that would mean on average you would do it once per day.
Okay.
I'm never gonna give something a score of 7. But then I would change like RTC to 6.
Right.
And it's like, it doesn't mean you do it 6 times per week. It's just like, it's something that could be done 6 times per week.
Yeah.
So it's the basically top cap. Slide offs, I would say some 1 or 2.
Like a 1, yeah, it's not hard.
Yeah, it's not hard.
And it's also like if you do it too much, then your life is ruined.
Yeah, exactly. It's like same thing if we had like opposite taking. It's like you will need to practice it at some point when you play Melee, and you will need to go back to it once every 2 months.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you never need to do it.
Right, exactly. With you.
Act out of crouch. What would you give this?
That's like a 4 or 5.
Yeah, let's say a 4. Space and time aerials.
Like a 3 or a 4.
SDI.
Like a 2 or a 3, maybe a 3.
Okay, let's say 3. And walk. I would say 1. I would say 0.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, most of the time I won't be practicing my walk.
Yeah, run cancel. I would say
Maybe
1 or
like
2.
a 1, yeah, maybe 1 or 2.
And throw follow up.
3 or a 4.
Yeah.
3.
And like obviously, right now we would need to add a few more things to make like the system work. But this is the idea. And like this is the. I think this is the most least burnouty way to practice.
Right.
Because you can sort of go on feel, while also you are forced to fill it out. Like it
But
should
also,
be. Oh, sorry.
sorry, yeah, like obviously, how do I know when I've got the points? Right. That's
Okay.
that's obviously a question I have to ask.
For how long it should take, you only get the points if you've done it for 1 to 5 minutes, depending on which thing you do. Like if you do obstacle, you should do it for 1 minute. If you do RTC, you should probably do it for 5 minutes, and it probably should be like 2 minutes for Fox, 2 minutes for Falco, and maybe 1 minute for another character. And the other character is what you alternate. I could add things like glitch dash here too, but whatever.
Yeah, I can add it myself.
The other thing is this, like when you hit something like 10 times in a row.
Yeah, I've done that before.
Because if you can do that, then it's time to move on. Because you don't want to waste time. It is about like being efficient. And you would rather do something less one day and be worse at it and come back to it later than overdo something one day and be less likely to come back to it later. Because if you do something too much and you consistent at it at one point, if you do ever forget it or lose muscle memory, you will be less likely to go back because you will be in the like, no, I know how to do this, and you will keep on being stubborn and go for it in matches. I'm guilty of this when it comes to ledge dashing, because it's like I used to have really good ledge dashes, so I need to still have good ledge dashes if I just try enough, which that's not how melee works.
Yeah.
These are basically the criteria for how to get the points. And because of how the point system works, it's like it should be varied enough while forcing you to pick high point options pretty often. To where it gives you a like decently alternating schedule while practicing important things.
Yeah, and it also like makes sure I'm not doing like bad solo practice for too long and
exactly.
using it efficiently.
I will say this system doesn't work for everybody. For people who prefer structure, I think having a weekly schedule is okay. But where you have a 7 different days worth of practices, but you swap the days at random.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I think the point system makes more sense for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm the kind of guy who goes into Uncle Bunch and it's like, I feel like I should probably practice this today. I'm not feeling too sharp.
Yeah.
Something.
Okay, cool. Do you have any other questions regarding the practice thingy?
No.
Okay.
I feel like this is a good starting point and I can build off this list and stuff.
We are running out of time, and I want to make sure we have enough time for if you have any outlining questions, like do you want to ask about anything we've gone through today?
Not really. Again, I'll probably watch back this VOD and have something and then DM you.
So like what I recommend is try to just take a I wouldn't say like when you go through if you go through the VOD, but like if you go through it, I want you to, as an exercise, just pick a simple matchup, a simple situation. So, for an example, it can be...
What's a simple matchup?
No, let's say Sheik versus...
Peach.
Yeah, sure, Peach. And you will just be like, okay, I want this situation. I will only look at the situation. I will look at the options. I will break this down like analysis-wise. I will write down something regarding this situation that I can have in my game plan notes. And I will take 1 or 2 things from the situation that I will practice.
Okay.
Because once you get better at the game and like you start getting better at analysis, you will do this, but you will have a list of like 20 things. And I like want you to be comfortable with the process before it becomes overwhelming. Because you need to be good at something to be efficient at it.
Right, yeah. I shouldn't be starting to do this for everything yet because I'm not good at it.
That would be really, really bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, do you have anything else before you stop the recording?
Yes,
Okay.
I thought of something. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to get games for a while.
Yeah.
What should I analyze?
What you should analyze? Okay. Great question. I think if you have recent games, save them.
Yeah, I have recent games, but it's also just like either me like faffing about.
No, but like, okay, when I say save them, I mean don't look at them yet.
Oh, okay.
What I want you to do is find people around your skill level and find sets of them.
Okay.
And I want you to try to find top players you want to take from and find from them.
Okay.
Once you've done that, once you've done for other people, I want you to do it for yourself.
Okay.
Because when you do... The reason I want you to do it this way is because if you have a break is the best way to break bad habits.
Right.
And
okay,
I want you to try to understand what other people do. So it's easier to change the way you look at the game if you look at other people, you see their mistakes, and you see top player solutions, than to look at your mistakes and top player solutions. Because looking at your own mistakes first will always lead to, okay, but I just messed up my muscle memory.
Yeah.
So that's just a simple exercise to do, and to make sure you have enough time, that you have enough material, useful material, during these 2 months.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
That's probably it, I think.
Then I'm gonna end the recording there.